Hey everyone, welcome back to a channel about watches. Now if you're watching this video right now, that means that 2020 is behind us, it's the new year, and hopefully we're going to get off to a better start than we did last year. Now you also probably noticed that the background has changed again, it's back to the original, so I have a softbox now, so hopefully that should reduce the amount of shadows. And you also notice that I changed my haircut, or my hairstyle, and that's because I got a COVID haircut, so it's not looking the best. But anyways, today's video is about New Year's resolutions, and I'm not talking about the ones for myself, but rather these are New Year's resolutions for watch companies, and these are things that I want for them to improve upon in the coming year. Now there's always room for improvement for these watch companies, but for the sake of this video, I'm only going to focus on watch companies that I'm personally interested in. So we're going to start off with Seiko. Now Seiko has had their fair share of both hits and misses this year, but one aspect that they didn't improve upon at all this year was online shopping. So despite how COVID-19 has made in-person shopping difficult, you still can't buy Seiko watches from their official website. And as an example, if I try buying the Seiko Presage watch, all it will do is prompt me to find an authorized retailer. Another thing that Seiko can work on this year is reducing the amount of limited edition watches that they release. Now I can understand that they want to restrict the supply to increase demand and also increase the prices of their watches, but I feel like at this point, it just makes it easy for scalpers to scoop up their watches and then flip them at a higher price, and it really doesn't benefit the consumer at all in the end. So I think that Seiko should really think about which watches they want to be limited edition and which ones should just be standard issue. And the last thing I want to mention for Seiko is that I hope that they utilize their long history of watchmaking and re-release some of their vintage watches. In 2020, Seiko re-released their King Seiko watch, and it was mostly well received by the watch community. And I feel like if they keep re-releasing watches like these, I think they have a great potential to become a lot more popular in the market. And even though they aren't as popular in terms of marketing compared to fashion watches, I think that Seiko has a long and rich history that they can definitely utilize to their advantage. Now the next company I want to talk about is Citizen. Now one thing that Citizen hasn't been doing very well at is introducing the Citizen lineup to North America. Now if you're not familiar with the Citizen, then you're not alone. This is a collection of high accuracy quartz watches that are mostly available only in Japan. Now these range from plus or 5- seconds per year watches to watches that are accurate to plus or minus 1 second per year. And that latter watch is the Caliber 0100, and these are priced at $7,400 US. So I hope that this year, Citizen will focus more on marketing these high accuracy quartz watches to both North America and Europe, and that way we'll have more access to these watches. And I do think that the prices of these watches should go down. Even though that 1 second per year accuracy is very impressive, I don't think it's worth over $7,000 US. And another thing I want to mention is that I hope that Citizen will release some more automatic watches. Even though Citizen is mostly famous for their eco-drive solar-powered watches, I think it'd be nice if they release some mechanical watches that can compete with Seiko. The next watch company I want to talk about is Orient. Now I think that Orient produces really good watches at an affordable price. But like Seiko, the biggest flaw of Orient that I can find is actually in their marketing. Especially if you compare them to fashion watches, Orient basically does no marketing at all. They pretty much don't sponsor anybody or any organization. You can't really find them in jewelry stores or even online. So I feel like it's really hard to get to know Orient because they really don't put themselves out there. In fact, the only marketing I hear about Orient watches usually comes from watch YouTubers. So I feel like Orient really needs to step up their game if they want to compete with the likes of Citizen and Seiko. One more thing I want to mention about Orient watches is their Orient Star lineup. Now this is kind of their luxury lineup of watches, and my issue with them is that the watches that I do like from this lineup are just simply too big for my wrist. And for example, their Moon Phase lineup of watches are around 49mm lug to lug, and I think this is just simply too big. So I hope that Orient does focus on smaller wrist sizes and release some watches that are between maybe 37 to 40mm in diameter and maybe 45 to 47mm lug to lug. Now moving away from Japanese watches, I want to talk about Timex next. And I have to say that for the most part, I think Timex did very well in 2020. I feel like that their releases last year, both quartz and automatic, were actually really nice. I really like how they've been utilizing their history by re-releasing vintage watches. And I also like their new Marlin automatics that are based on Peanuts characters. My main issue with Timex is I feel like that the movements they use in their automatic watches simply can't justify the price point. For example, the Timex Marlin automatic watches use a Miyota movement. And from what I've heard, the movement is very loud and also there's no hacking, which means that the watch will continue to tick even if you pull the crown out. So I hope that in 2021, Timex will put some research and development towards making their own in-house movements that are higher quality. Alright, now the last company I want to talk about isn't a company in particular, but it's just all AliExpress watches in general. So I'm talking about watches that I mentioned in my previous video where I talked about where to buy watches online. So these are watch brands like Starking, Cadison, and Pagani Design. I think these three watch companies offer great value for money, but the biggest issue right now is their quality control. I recently purchased 2 Starking watches as Christmas gifts, and I feel like there are some issues in terms of quality control with these watches. And I'll probably talk about this more when I do a review on them, but I will have to say I'm a little bit disappointed that these watches weren't shipped in perfect shape. So if there are any Starking executives that are watching this video, or any other watch companies that sell their watches on AliExpress, please improve your quality control on your watches, and that way your reputation will increase and buyers will be more confident when buying your watches. And lastly, I want to talk about some New Year's resolutions I have for this channel. So I do want to improve the video quality, the audio quality, the lighting, the background, the thumbnails, the music, the video descriptions. I basically want to improve everything as much as I can. And I do want to improve how I speak in front of the camera, because I know I kind of speak in a robotic voice so far. So I do want to improve that in the future. And I know that will take some time. So hopefully by the end of 2021, I'll be more comfortable making videos. So anyways, those are my New Year's resolutions for 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys have any other suggestions for resolutions for either the watch companies or for this channel itself, you can leave them down in the comments below. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.